This video is about job interviews for massage. So what I'd like to do is explain a little bit of what my past students have done for job interviews and what I've done for myself for job interviews. And then I'd like to get your feedback, what you've had to do for your job interviews. Just to get people a little bit of a heads up what to expect with a job interview. The first massage job interview I actually had was at a spa, and I didn't even have to give a massage. So it seems weird. I know some places will require you to actually have a massage, give a massage for the interview process. And I know some places will have you do like a sit-down interview first, and then maybe a day or so later, if you make it to the next round, then they'll have you actually give a massage then. So that's something to look forward to, or not, or to be a little bit scared, but it's totally understandable. And with my first job interview, they're kind of desperate too. So sometimes when people are a little bit desperate to find somebody, they don't typically go over things as much. So that's what's frustrating with that then. So honestly, I wish I would have had a job interview a little bit more in depth, so I could get a better feel for it, because sometimes that first job interview, you kind of expect that for other times. So my next massage job, I had to give a massage. So the person, I had to give that person a massage for an hour, so I had to show them what my basic Swedish massage was. They liked it, they got the job, yada yada yada. But with that, sometimes they'll do the interview process when you're giving them the massage. So they'll kind of quiz you whether you're actually listening or not. Because that's a big problem with a lot of therapists, is they typically sometimes don't listen to the client, what they really want and what they really need. So that's why it's a good idea to pay more attention to them and even get a lot more interview before you actually start the massage. So then you can find out what their likes and dislikes are. And a big one that I like to do is I want to find out what they really liked and disliked before from other massages, so you can try to mimic the good stuff. Of course, you don't want to mimic the bad stuff, but the more you can listen to them, the more likely you get hired too then. And that's my recommendation for that. And I know some people to even get to like 2 or 3 interviews for a place, so they'll keep having you come back and come back. And one interview I had a while ago was at a hospital, and with that, they had 4 people interview me, so I didn't have to give a massage at all. But what they did was they just had a panel of 4 people, and then they interviewed me. So that can be a little bit intimidating too. But my belief is to kind of throw it back on them, nicely of course, but ask them questions. So why did you get into this kind of field, and why do you like working here then? And what are your kind of harder times, and times that it's harder for you to adapt to things? So you want to kind of ask those kind of questions, but don't be dominant, of course. Make sure you ask the right kind of questions, and don't intimidate them, and don't feel intimidated either, because that can make it or break it with the job interview, is when you feel a little bit intimidated and you're not having the eye contact. So the more eye contact, the better. But you want to be cocky, but not so cocky. So you want to be, again, like confident, but not, oh yeah, I know everything and everything about everything. So that can destroy people for job interviews too, the more cocky you are. And it's really hard to tell somebody how much is too cocky and how much is not enough cockiness. So you're going to get a feel for yourself. But again, if you kind of want to get a feel for what that person knows, the interviewer. So the person interviewing you want to get a feel of what their qualifications are in a way too, before you really start spouting off everything else, because again, they can feel a little bit intimidated then. Another option too is when you're going to a job interview over the phone, you want to ask them if you will be giving an actual massage, and if you are giving an actual massage, it might be a good idea to ask them, is it okay if I wear like a khakis and a polo shirt, just because it's more comfortable massaging, or even ask them what they prefer people to massage in, then what kind of clothing, because that would help out. Or what you can do too is not even mention that stuff and just bring an extra set of clothes along just in case you need to massage. So it's a great thing because it's making you look prepared too. And the way you dress for the actual interview can make it or break it too. So you want to probably one notch up than what you're seeing. So let's say the people there are wearing like a polo and a khakis. You might want to wear maybe dress shirt and maybe a dress shirt. Dress pants and dress shirt. Then so you just want to one notch up maybe a little bit to do those kind of things then. But again, if you are going to be giving a massage, it's totally okay to ask them, is it okay if I bring a second set of clothes along to make it feel comfortable when I'm massaging then? And they'll probably think for a moment, but they'll think that's an actual good thing that you're thinking ahead for this whole process then. And be prepared to try to answer something like, what is your worst case scenario? Let's say you worked with somebody with a certain kind of disease, and they'll even throw those kind of things at you sometimes. They're not going to intimidate you that much, but again, some people will. They'll say, oh, so what's your belief on fibromyalgia, or what's your belief with chiropractors? And again, try to stay neutral as much as possible, but again, you want to give your true feelings as much as possible too, because what about once you get into it and the person that you're working for doesn't believe in fibromyalgia, but you totally do. So again, it can be confusing, and you want to kind of mimic that person's personality as much as possible. So I'm kind of rambling on and on and on, but what I'd like to do is get some feedback from you guys, what you guys would do in this interview process, and what kind of questions and circumstances you've come across for when you're being interviewed. Or if you're the interviewer, if you interviewed a massage therapist, what's really bad about some in the past that people that you've interviewed. So I want to get that kind of feedback too. So thanks a lot, and please leave the comments in the section below. Thank you.